Welcome to Senior Moments, the show where we talk about all things senior, the good, the bad, and the utterly ridiculous. I'm Susan Tomasich, and today I have with me Martha Rubin. She is the coordinator for emergency preparedness in the Arnold area, and Martin Hubbardy, who is our District 3 supervisor. Welcome to the show.
Great.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So
Thanks
what do
for
you want
having
to start?
us.
What would you like to start with
Well, I'd like to invite everybody to come to our May 3rd event that will be held at Independence Hall, White Pines, Arnold. And we're hoping everybody will come and learn how to be prepared when there's an emergency, specifically during fire season. And we have a lot of guest speakers. We'll have our first responders, our business representatives, and vendors in the area.
That sounds amazing. So how long is the event?
So the event is from like 9 until probably noon, and we'll have lunch and a lot of swag and giveaways, raffle prizes, and workshops afterwards. So this is our 3rd year doing this. They've had events prior to COVID, and then this is our 3rd year after COVID. So each year we have new information for everybody to learn about, and it's a community event. So our goal is really to have our community residents come and learn how to help themselves keep their house and their property clear, and then help their neighbors with that.
And since this is a show that talks about seniors, do you have any specific advice for seniors?
I do, actually. There's a seniors program, and it's through the Fire Safe Council, that if you go on their website, probably in May, they'll have the 2025 forms up, and you can register to have your lot cleaned, and they will come take your pine needles. They won't take down any trees, and no woody wood chips or wood parts, but they'll take your pine needles and they'll clean your lot for free. So you have to be, yeah, isn't that great?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So
you have to be 60 or over.
Okay.
Or if you are disabled, you can also fill out the form.
Well, that is something I had absolutely no idea that what's going on up there. So
yeah, so great.
Congratulations.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So the other, I'll just jump in and say that in my district, 2/3 of all the homes are either short-term rentals or second homeowners.
Okay.
And the other third are really retirees. So there are quite a few seniors in my district. So this type of program is very important to spread that information out. Also, I do want to say, if you are a Cal Waste client, you can get a free handy hauler
nice.
with your subscription, I guess is the best way to put it, for pine needles.
Okay.
So that's another way, if you're not a senior even, you can get your lot cleared that way.
So they come, they bring this handy hauler in, and then you rake your own needles, obviously. Can you put anything in there besides pine needles?
It's meant just for pine needles and brush. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember back when they had the fire in Tahoe a few years ago, pine needles were a big issue.
Yeah.
That people, well, they weren't allowed. It was against the law to rake the pine needles. And
well, we also have some constituents that will end up raking them, but they rake them into the ditch. And once the ditches are filled, then the culverts don't work anymore. So it's really beneficial just to get rid of them altogether.
Right. Now, is there any cost to go to this event?
No. Oh, thanks for asking. Yes, it's a free event.
Okay.
Everybody is welcome. Mostly it's for the Upper Highway 4 corridor, but anybody is welcome to come. And actually, we've had a lot of different communities ask, like, how do you do it? How do you put on this event? So we're going to be up in West Point. They have planned an event for June 14th.
Oh, wonderful.
And so all the first responders will be up there as well. And we also talk about Firewise. It's a free program that communities apply for, and most you have to write a a 3-year action plan and go around and make sure your community, the lots have been cleared, most of them hopefully have been, and then you have to apply through the website, and if you get recognition from the group, then your community becomes a Firewise community. And so Meadowmont now, where I live, just became a Firewise again. You have to reapply every year, and so it takes volunteers to go around and kind of look through the community, make sure that houses are cleared of pine needles. The Ebbets Pass Fire Department also comes out and looks at the unimproved lots, and CAL FIRE comes out, and if you're not in compliance with clearing your lots. So the majority of your properties have got to be cleared so you can become recognized.
Okay. So what benefit is it to be recognized as a Firewise community?
Well, theoretically,
You're safer, but
it's safer, but also that the insurance companies will look at you differently, and hopefully that will start to turn around here, so that communities that are Firewise will be given special treatment as far as insurance is concerned. That's the major goal, I think.
Yeah.
I think so, and I do believe I heard a few rumors a few years ago that all the work we are doing for clearing and trying to keep, 100 feet defensible space is actually helping with the insurance company. So I hope that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now, and we've
absolutely.
seen that, the aftermath of these horrific fires is that the homes that have been hardened, that have adhered to trying to go to the zero zone around your house, keeping that clear, 30 feet, 100 feet, that those houses have been left standing. So, but the most important thing is you can clear your house, but you really want to help your neighbors clear theirs.
Right.
Because the fire moves quickly, and whatever on the ground burns, and then the cinders go and start new fires. So as much off the ground that we could get, the safer we are.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because wildfire is inevitable. Wildfire in California is inevitable, but catastrophic fire is something that we can actually control if we all work together.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it really has changed. Fire used to go maybe 1 or 2 miles a day. Now it's going 40 miles an hour.
Right.
It's crazy how
Right.
fast it can go. So you mentioned some vendors are going to be at this event. What vendors are you talking about?
Okay, so, well, we're going to have tree trimmers,
Okay.
of course, and lot cleaners come. We have a green waste disposal area up in Arnold, so he's going to come, RJ Sklar. We have a radio network. It's the ERSN, Ebbets Radio Safety Net. And it's a community group that has like walkie-talkies kind of.
Oh, so are they the ham people?
Yeah.
The ham radios?
No, it's not
No,
a
it's
ham
not
radio.
ham,
It's more
it's-
like a walkie-talkie.
okay.
Yeah.
And
Same principle, though.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
so we have a separate channel with a repeater, so it has a greater area. And the goal for that is when and if there's an emergency, the first responders have their jobs. We as community people want to stay away and do what we're supposed to do, and so they will also be repeating the information, go north, evacuate, shelter in place, does anybody need help? They'll be there. We'll have the GABA, the Greater Arnold Business Association will probably be there.
Okay.
And Firewise, of course, is going to be there. The Red Cross will be there. And then the county agencies will have Health and Human Services. Calaveras Public Health will come. Public Works.
OES. OES.
OES,
Eric?
yes, of course.
Okay.
Number one,
OES,
yeah.
the Sheriff's Office will come.
How about public transit, Calaveras Connect? Are you planning to have them?
Oh, yeah, well, I think they fall under Public Works, but yeah,
Well, they are a
that's
separate-
great.
They're a separate
Entity.
entity altogether.
Separate.
Yeah,
So-
we can ask them to come.
Oh,
That'd
yeah,
be huge.
thank you. Area 12 will come.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we have that. Under Health and Human Services, talking about seniors, you know, they have a program too to try to reach out to seniors and see what we could do to help with computer literacy, making connections. At the libraries, we're talking about maybe doing game days or bridge or knitting, or we have a
Sure.
book club, especially up at Arnold we do. And so how to draw seniors in and make those connections, because if you're alone in an emergency, you want to be able to have someone to call.
Absolutely, and I'm wondering, are you going to gather that data so that you know who in the community are disabled or might need, you know, just like me, getting older, and I might need a little extra help with my 500 rabbits?
This is the difficult part, because ultimately, coming into the position that I'm in, I have 4 ladies in their mid-90s that live up, you know, above the snow line, alone.
Yeah.
And it's important to know where your constituents are that are going to need help. And it helps Chief Johnson. So, I mean, 2.5 years ago, when we had sort of Snowmageddon, and relatives were calling because they couldn't get a hold of their loved ones up the hill, we would do check-ins to make sure that they were, you know, everything was all right and that they didn't need anything. But it's really helpful to know all the other places that they need to hit when they're out there, just to make sure that everybody's okay. And it's difficult because there isn't one list per se, so it's just trying to get that knowledge and figure out where the people are that you need to help. And especially in the Upper Highway 4 corridor, you know, people, all year round residents can be, you know, really interspersed in amongst 10 or 12 houses that are empty. So it's good to know. It's good to know.
This episode of Senior Moments is brought to you by Naughty Squirrel Farms. So are you going to get the Meals on Wheels list? So you have, I mean, those people are all housebound. So that would be a...
There are 50, I believe 15 people in the Upper Highway 4 corridor that I know one Arnold resident is the volunteer who hands out all those meals. So
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we have several Red Cross volunteers that live up in our area too. So the Red Cross will be there also, and people can sign up. So that's a great thing to have put out. We'll put out something and say, you know, do you want to be contacted in case of an emergency, or, you know, here's a number, or try that.
Make sure everybody's signed up for the first alert and code red and all the different...
Yeah, so OES has that, and Know Your Zone, and Nixle, sign up for that, the Everbridge. There are a lot of apps that you can sign up for, so yeah, so that's important. And Chief Johnson, we mentioned him. He's our partner in collaborating and setting this all up, and he and his team, the firefighters, come and help us set up, and they'll probably be there. Sometimes they come with a fire truck. We're also going to have Columbia College, their School of Forestry.
Oh, wonderful.
So the students and faculty are going to come, and they may have some things for, if there are kids, some activities for them. And so they'll talk about their experiences on the front line.
Great.
So
if I understand this correctly, you're going to have vendors in the morning and then have lunch, and then in the afternoon you're going to have the workshops?
Well, yes, but so actually, for the past 2 years, we have our speakers come. Martin, of course, introduces everybody, and then we have speakers and presentations. It's a long morning.
Yeah. Okay.
So this year, we decided we're going to come back in studio, and we're going to make a video with the first responders to just give a little overview of what are you supposed to do when smoke's in the air. You hit the ground running, and this is what they're going to be doing, and the expectations of what the residents of the county are supposed to be doing.
All right.
So we'll have that. We'll show it. Probably it'll be a half hour to 45 minutes. Then we're going to have 2 panels set up. We're going to have first responders, and then we're going to have, I guess, agencies, we'll call them, like CCWD. Kelly comes, and he always talks about what they're doing. We have PG&E come, and they talk about what they're doing. And then other resources that are available in the community. So it can be a more interactive between the residents who have questions and the panel. Then afterwards, we'll break for lunch and free lunch, barbecue lunch from
That
Callaway's.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, and then we'll have workshops in the afternoon if people want to stay. We may have a film, we may have pack your to-go bag, what goes in. We'll talk about Firewise, how do you set up your community. So there'll be different workshops. We're still planning and finalizing that. HHS may have something for seniors.
Actually, so they had something at their last preparedness day at the library that I thought was
Right.
really important, and that was they had some bags that held noise canceling headphones and some other items for people who are sensitive to loud noises, and maybe somebody that's autistic and ends up in a shelter
yeah.
that's, you know, one big room basically, and you got all these beds and people are milling around, and all that can be overwhelming. All that input can be overwhelming. So you might ask them if they
Yeah,
still
if
have
they-
some of those bags. That would be a
Yeah.
really nice item to have.
Martha isn't afraid to ask for things. She is a real dynamo. She has done so well. I mean, last year I remember meeting with you because you had a bunch of questions, and this year you're on it. I mean, you've made all these contacts, and you're firsthand because she is on it, and she makes sure. I mean, I remember last year you were saying, make sure that Eric brings that stuff, and you were on
Yeah,
the phone,
right,
and Eric brought that
right.
stuff. So yeah, no, Martha does an amazing job with the
Yeah.
program, and it's well worth
Thanks.
going. Yeah.
It sounds like an absolutely fantastic day. A lot of opportunities to learn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of opportunities to interact with the different
Yeah.
agencies, so that when you're in the situation, you have a picture in your mind of who you're talking to, which is always nice, as opposed to just going, oh my gosh, now what do I do? And frantically calling numbers that you don't really know where you're calling, right?
Yeah, that's great.
So-
Yeah,
But you-
thanks for saying that. Good recap.
You also get to learn about all these agencies that, as a regular citizen, you don't really realize, and all of these other, what I want to say, departments that are there to help you, and
Right.
being able to listen to them and then realize, oh, you know, maybe I can interact with this person to learn more. It's
Exactly.
really helpful. What I was going to say earlier is just that hopefully the weather will stick with us, because it's always nice when we can set up outside and inside.
Yes.
And then if it rains, we're all inside, and it gets
Right.
a little, I mean, because there are a lot of people, which is wonderful, and a lot of vendors.
Right. And we start off, of course, with coffee and breakfast.
Oh,
Well,
that sounds
muffins,
nice,
cookies,
yeah.
whatever. Last year, May 4th, it snowed.
Of course it
Yeah,
did.
yes.
You know, so we're going to do the snow dance and hope that we can spread out. And like we said, we do have a lot of vendors, there are a lot of resources. There are a lot of resources in the Upper Highway 4 corridor and throughout the county. So they're going to come, and you know, it's amazing how many people are out there really doing good and really helping out and helping each other, and services that are provided, like you said, just the headphones, you know. I
Right.
got a flashlight and a crank radio. So there's a lot of things that they have and give away, so we are prepared.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think some of the things like making sure you have 7 days worth of your medication set aside.
Right.
No, because you don't know how long it's going to take before the communication between the pharmacy and your doctor, or the pharmacy and you, gets set up again so you can go get more refills. You don't know if your pharmacy is going to be in the midst of the emergency and you can't go to the pharmacy. So it's
Yeah, that's really important. We give a checklist out, you know, a little handout of, you know, and also taking care of your pets.
sure.
You know, you have to make sure that you have water and food for them, and a bowl, and
I was
a
gonna say,
little
something to put it
shelter,
in.
and,
Yeah.
you
And know
know,
where their cat carrier or dog carrier is. So that
Absolutely.
you don't have to go searching for it in the basement.
That's right.
yeah. So that's really, we had animal services come last time, so maybe they'll come again. They have some pointers for us.
They might bring
And-
some dogs to
I
adopt
think,
too.
I think that's what we're going to hit them up for. Definitely.
So you get
yeah.
your alert dog, the dog that's going to alert you that it's dangerous to
Yes.
get going. Yes.
Exactly. Make sure you have your to-go bag packed. And so at the League of Women Voters, the fire interest group, they always have a session on what to pack. The Red Cross has a session on what to pack. But the greatest tip was you have your to-go bag, but you also have to have your computer electronics bag.
That is a
So
good point.
even when you're home, have a designated area
Right.
or a backpack where you have all your cords and your extra battery packs, and so everything's right there. You don't have to go, oh my gosh, where's my
Right.
charger, or where's this or that. Everything is there, so all you have to do is slip your phone, slip your computer or your iPad, whatever you have, and out you go.
Yes, and since Marty Crane is not with us today, I'm going to tell everybody, make sure you pack your underlovelies, because Marty's not going to share hers with you.
Okay.
That is her.
Definitely,
Good advice, good advice.
definitely.
So how many people usually attend this event?
I think, the residents between about 80 and 100.
Wow,
and
that's
then
great.
we had, well, like 17 speakers. We
Yeah.
had 22, I think, vendors. So it was a good day. It's a really
Yeah.
good day. So
Yeah, because it's great because it's not just the public learning, but it's also these first responders getting to spend time together and actually exchange notes and talk as well. And getting to spend that time is invaluable. And actually, in saying that, I really want to shout out to a lot of the people that give up their Saturday to make this happen for the public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, is the CERT program still active up in Arnold, or has that kind of gone away?
I think it's kind of gone away.
Okay, since
Yeah.
the blank look, it's gone away.
Yeah. Yes.
right, I don't know.
That's
well,
all right.
We're working on doing a couple of things that we're hoping in the works with the Fire Safe Council and trying to bring back the chipper program, so then you can get rid of your branches and all the woody wastes and not just the pine needles. So we're hoping that we can do that. And here's another plug for Firewise is some programs might be first to reach out to Firewise communities, because they know that those communities have made the effort to stay clean and clear and follow. So June 1st is when you really have to start raking your pine needles. My advice is do it year round,
Oh,
because it makes the
absolutely.
job easier. I did my house this year, and it took forever, and 40 bags of, you go to the green waste, and then you fill up another 40 bags, and
Yeah.
it's a big job if you can't have somebody come in and actually do it for you.
Well, I have got my first cutting, as I say, done already this year. So
Okay.
I don't have pine needles, but I've got the usual weeds. So yeah, I've been out there weed eating already, and it's only March.
Yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
weather now, so we don't know. In addition to our May 3rd event, we are going to follow it up with...
So really quickly, I am also the film commissioner for Calaveras County. And at the moment, there aren't a lot of films being done. The industry has really come to a screeching halt at the moment as the streamers are starting to take over, what have you. We do see some films that come look, but mainly it's been commercials and or some smaller TV projects. We had Homestead Rescue, the Scott Brothers came this past year, and a few commercials. But ultimately, I want to keep the Film Commission alive, and I think that the work that you do here and that Sarah does here and John, it's amazing. And I love that feeling that there is a community here that understands television and film, and that we're also giving that education to children and adults and to seniors to be able to make their own
absolutely.
programs. So the long and the short of it is, in working with Sarah last year with CCTV, we did the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, and that was really brought on by Chris, and
He did an amazing
He
job,
did.
I have to
He
say. That was
And it was a great slate of films, and it was a really wonderful day, and people stayed all day long watching these movies, and they were
It was
great films,
wonderful,
and it
yeah.
really was a great program. This year, I wanted the Film Commission to sponsor it again, but this time I wanted also to make it open to the public so that we're not charging. You will have to register to get a ticket so that we're not turning anyone away at the door,
Right.
but we're not charging. But what I was trying to think, how do we make this festival something that people that's educational and that people will remember. And I started looking up wildfire, and this was actually a couple of weeks before the fires down in Los Angeles. We were thinking of putting this together. So I started looking online for wildfire film festivals, and I couldn't find anything. And then I thought, well, this is perfect for Wild and Scenic because they have great, and it was actually Martha and Marcy Powers who said, you kind of have to do forest and fire. Let's not make this total, disaster territory. So we are going to do a forest and fire film festival with Wild and Scenic, and that'll be May 31st. And we'll be at same place at Bret Harte Theater.
Okay.
And then we'll have an amazing slate of films. And the Sierra Nevada Conservancy has come on board as our main sponsor.
Wonderful.
And they will be bringing some amazing speakers. We haven't got anybody totally confirmed yet, but we have some. They've got the clout to bring some really high-level government officials into a panel discussion.
Great. Yeah.
So we're just getting started with that now. Again, we call it the Forest and Fire Film Festival. It's under Wild and Scenic, so there'll be plenty of movies as well to come see, and there's some beautiful films. We're still in the selection process of learning about our forests, seeing what can happen, the resiliency and the sustainability, but then also seeing, hopefully, there are one or two great films from around the world, because what we're experiencing here in California is not unique. It's happening in Brazil, it's happening in Chile, it's happening in Greece and Spain.
And happening in Canada.
Exactly.
Canada.
I always think Canada's cold and snowy. And it's not all year, obviously, but a couple of years ago, it was incredible the number of people they had to evacuate.
It's sort of the wave of the future, and we just need to know how to live with it and hopefully beat it in situations. So I'm really excited about it. The film festival will be fun. It's something that I think also the Firewise that we do up the hill in the last couple of years that we've done it, we seem to have a lot of the same people coming, a lot of the same audience, which is great because every year there's something new and different that we need. But I thought with the film festival also we could broaden our horizons, and we'll get people who wouldn't necessarily have gone to the Firewise or what have you, that they'll come to see the movies and then understand the reasoning behind this film festival, which is to educate people about our forests and fire and the amazing fuel breaks that have been done. And we have Cal-Am, all the teams, Sierra Nevada Conservancy, Cal Fire, all the people that have worked in the protection of the Upper Highway 4 corridor. People need to know this. I never knew this until I became a supervisor, and I really was given the tours around and seeing all the work that's been done and the work that we have to maintain, because ultimately you can go in and do the clearing and do it all properly, but 3 years later, you've still got that problem, and it's better to deal with it right away as opposed to wait and start all over again. So the forests really regenerate.
And the theory that it already burnt through here once, it's not going to burn again, is not holding water, because we had places during the Butte that burnt that ended up having fire going through just another couple of years later. It wasn't even...
All you have to do is look at the historic photographs of our county, and you can see what forests really should look like, because they used to burn.
Yeah.
And Marcy Powers always said that she would look at a forest that was jammed full and think, oh, how beautiful, but now realizes what's really beautiful is a forest that you can run through.
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
are any of the films going to be based from here in Calaveras County?
We did that last year. I don't know necessarily that we will do it again this year. There really haven't been any films about forest fire that have been done locally. I mean, most of them have, for example, David Vassar's done a number of beautiful films about Yosemite and natural films, but not necessarily about fire. And I really think that it's important that the sustainability of forest. There's a wonderful film that we're going to show that shows how a treated area stopped a major forest fire from continuing on. So they're entertaining, they're beautiful to watch, but they're educational as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So when you're talking about the forest movies, are we going to get to see some cute little animals in them? Or is it all going to, is it more towards vegetation, or is it going to be kind of it's going to be more vegetation than?
Well, you've seen them now too. I mean, they're pretty much about the forest. I mean, and again, I think wildlife, if I remember correctly, is really addressed in one of them, but not all of them.
Not all of them.
Well, and because because of the fire, they leave and then they come back when the forest regenerates.
Yeah.
So that's in some of the films, and then reseeding and replanting. So forest, regenerates, and so we hope that that'll happen.
All right, you guys just gave me another film project that
There
I'm
you
going to
go.
have to work
There you
on.
go.
Because,
Oh yeah, we'll share our list.
well, just think about it. If there's been nothing done, that means that all those stories, like the person that saved Mountain Ranch because they took their bulldozer and made a fire break. My house got saved because a private person started a fire break behind our subdivision, and instead of stopping at the end of his property, he just kept going.
Yeah.
That's, there was a moment when, from my house, when the wind blew towards me, I could feel the heat of the fire. I mean, it was still far enough away that I couldn't see it. I mean, I could see the smoke. It was over the ridge, but
Wow.
Yeah.
and it got close enough. And if it
Amazing.
hadn't been for one private individual, and I think those stories would make a great documentary.
Well,
Yeah.
here's to another story, another show. you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
People
please.
do have
Absolutely.
great stories to tell, and I think listening to people tell that story, that the fuel breaks are so necessary, that would help with getting our grants, getting the work done, people doing the work around their properties. So that makes for a good documentary.
Yeah. No, I just gotta find the time to do it.
Just one more thing on the list.
One more thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else that we haven't talked about today that we should get to?
Well, just reiterating what Martin said, fire is inevitable, but it doesn't have to be catastrophic. And if we are prepared and we do the work, then hopefully, we'll be safe.
Yeah, I agree. And really, at the end of the day, we don't want to have anybody die because they were trying to save their house.
There is that push me, pull you as far as, because I have a friend in Altadena whose house was safe because her neighbor stayed and put out the fires that came around her house.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she's one of the 3 houses that are still standing. But you don't want, I mean, is it worth, no.
Yeah.
You just get out, yeah. I would like to say one other thing, and that is we are doing the short-term rental ordinance.
Okay.
And that's very applicable to our district in the respect of the Upper Highway 4 corridors, where the majority of Airbnbs are in our county. And I feel very strongly that the safety information is in those Airbnbs, and working with Brett right now and making that happen. It's very important that people know how to get out too, because you can get into some of those subdivisions that you don't really realize. I mean, you can drive around for hours trying to figure out how to get out. And it's really
Exactly.
important that that information's in there. And also that we know that visitors leave on a warning so that they don't complicate evacuations.
Right.
And I think that's really important too. So I really would like to put that out to the public that, if you know somebody who's a visitor and there's a warning, they need to leave. And then when it's a mandatory evacuation, there's more space for the locals to get out.
Right. And more space for the fire engines to come up the hill
exactly.
and,
Right.
medics and things like that.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should practice.
Yes, we
you
should.
know, of where to go and what to do. I was talking with Chief Johnson, and he said there's lots of scenarios where the fire comes from. Is it a house fire coming here? Is it moving up? Is it, so there are lots of routes that you have to practice taking, so you know whether the road is a dirt road, a gravel road, a paved road,
Right.
and how to get out.
I think also if you're planning on using an alternate route that isn't well traveled, you need to make sure that it's clear that a tree hasn't come down over that dirt road in the wintertime and blocked the traffic.
Right.
Also, and I say this every single Firewise, and it's boring, I know, but I went to a boarding school and we had a fire drill every month, like every school has, but we had to get out of this. There were 75 kids that lived in this house, and you'd hate it. The alarm would go off and you'd say, oh, not again. And one morning it went off at 5:30 in the morning, and I was up, I got all the kids, I was a prefect, got all out of the dormitory down. The 75 kids got out of that house in 2.5 minutes. In 5 minutes, there was nothing left.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's
sitting there and
awesome.
watching a place where you were just asleep, it was an inferno, has given me a, I don't want to put it, well, I mean,
Respect for fire
thank
drills.
you. A respect for for fire, but also what you were just saying is drills. It is about practicing. it is about knowing what your child's favorite toy is. So at the moment, you know what to grab and where to go, and to know where to go. Because as Chief Johnson always says, if it's black that way, go that way. And a lot of people instinctively want to go down the hill and to get out, but in some instances, it might be better to go up the hill.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, don't drive to the fire.
Yeah.
Right, right. And always be careful, because you don't want to go a way that you don't know is clear. And that's what I fear, because we do have a lot of dirt roads and what have you, and other alternative routes to get out. But if you aren't in a 4x4, or you haven't got the knowledge that that road is clear, it's important that you know.
I think so. And I'm wondering for our visitors, if we could have as part of their rental packet, you have to go online and you have to take this 10-minute interactive course that teaches you about fire in Calaveras County.
So essentially with Airbnb, they're willing to do that for us, so that when you sign on to rent a place, you have to read all the information. And I think that's really important, because most of our guests are Airbnb. There are VRBO and home share, and then the people that do it privately. But just to have that information is really important. And Airbnb is amazing to work with. So they've said that they'll make that happen for us.
Oh, good. That's really good to know.
Yeah. We print it up and give it out. So if you come to our event, you'll get all that information as well.
Yeah. So. And I wonder if it even wouldn't be a good idea for the homeowner or to have, and maybe they already have to do this, have evacuation routes posted.
That's what we're asking for. And to make sure that information, and to make sure that their fire extinguishers, just even like you're saying, for house fires, making sure the fire extinguishers and the smoke detectors work. Yeah, all the safety information needs to be posted, but also checked off on, updated, exactly.
Right. Yeah. And then the zone, you need to know your zone.
Yes.
So right, and know your zone.
My zone is my year of my birth, so.
Oh.
So that made it easy, otherwise I wouldn't know what it is. If you go look at my house, you'll know how old I am.
I was going to say, it isn't 2002, is it?
No, it's not 2002. But, well, it's been really enjoyable talking to the both of you.
Thank you.
Great.
And I'd love to come to your event. I'll have to make sure I put it on my calendar, and I hope
Can I
everybody else comes to the event.
Okay, so just mark your calendar for May 3rd. Up at Independence Hall in Arnold, White Pines, actually, and from 9 to 12, and then maybe a little bit later, come for raffles, come for lunch, come for coffee, come for education, and be prepared. And also, come on
May 31st, and it will be pretty much an all-day event, starting in the later morning, and we'll have a series of amazing films and great panels with some really amazing speakers. Who are there to help us, educate us, and entertain us as well.
Okay. Now, for May 3rd,
Yes.
is there a phone number somebody can call if they want more information? Facebook page or website?
Yeah, I guess you could call me.
Do you want to give your number? I can give my number. I don't mind. I talk to everybody. So if they have any questions, they can call me, which is 209-286-9007. So it's 209-286-9007.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I look forward to both events. I think they're going to be a wonderful way for the community to find out more about fire, get educated, and also to increase our connections with each other so that we have a better, more close-knit community.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. That's a great thing. Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for wrapping it up so beautifully. Because it really is, at the end of the day, it's all about community.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you to our audience. I'm glad that you joined us for this episode today. I hope you join us again for the next episode.